Hi, cuties, besties, and ghosties. This is Muertera. Welcome to my channel, Muertero. To all of my new friends, welcome. So happy to have you here, that you found us. To all of my returning friends, hi, I missed you. Today we are going to be doing a really fun reading. We are going to be asking your higher self and your spiritual square, or basically the spirits that are guiding you through this life, for advice on what growth you are going through right now, and coping strategies, help, advice to kind of help you along the way. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to title this yet, but it'll be like somewhere in that vein, basically asking spirit for the central message of the change that you're going through right now, and helpful advice they have for you. We are going to be using the Buffy the Vampire Slayer deck, which I am so excited to use. I haven't used it yet. I was waiting for the right reading, and here she is. So we'll use the tarot, that same tarot deck, for all three piles. I think it's a great kind of allegory for progress and change. Vampires and Buffy the Vampire Slayer were kind of allegory for the trials and tribulations of growing up through childhood and kind of tackling the demons of adolescence. So I think it'll be a really cool deck to use. And then we do have the 3 crystals as well. For those of you who have not done a pick a pile reading before, we will have a section right after this where I'll explain what all of these stones are, kind of the energies that they help embody and help us move through our lives. And then I'll play a singing bowl as well, so you have a little bit of time to kind of feel into the energies, and then you will pick a pile, and then you can click in the description below for timestamps. So really excited to have you all here and get into it. So if I don't see you in the pick a pile section, then I will see you in your reading. Okay, bye. Hi friends, welcome to your pick a pile section. So if you skip the intro, we are using the same tarot deck for all of the different piles. We'll do kind of standard like oracles and tarot, but this deck is really about transformation. Buffy is about transformation from adolescence to adulthood, so I thought it would be fitting for this reading. And let's dive into the crystals. So first we have this desert rose celestite. So this is really a stone about focus and commitment, perseverance through the face of obstacles. So really beautiful stone for transformation. And that is pile 1. For pile 2, we have this really interesting stone. This little friend has a couple different minerals in it. So this one is barite with cerussite and galena. And this stone is really great for grounding yourself through transformation and really harmonizing through spiritual growth and spiritual changes. So love this little one. And then our third pile, we have this big chunk of black tourmaline with a nice little vein of crystal quartz through it. Black tourmaline is a fantastic stone for grounding. It's one of my favorites. And this stone always makes me think about, it's like this beam of white light through kind of this dense black stone. And it just really reminds me that, we're all on a spiritual journey, and we are protected while we're on that journey. So that might not be the traditional meaning of a stone, but that's what it means to me. Okay, so let's get into the singing bowl. Okay, cuties, hopefully you have had enough time to choose a pile, and I will, well, you go ahead and you click the timestamp in the description, but I will see you in your reading. Okay, bye! Hi, my pile ones. If you chose this Desert Rose Celestite, this is your reading. Ooh, these crystals are too fat. They like don't fit in this little spot anymore. Okay, there we go. So I've shuffled oracle cards for you already, and we're gonna read in a format where the main kind of question or energy that like your spirits want to highlight is going to be in the middle. On the left, you're going to have the energy that you're kind of like currently in and moving out of, and then on the right, we'll have the energy that you are moving into. And then we'll wrap up with tarot, and tarot will be more of like an advice section, letting you know like how you can actually transmute this energy and what things and areas you need to focus on to do it. So for your central energy, we have full moon, fully living the powers of the universe. And we have I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. For your kind of like current energy, we have the otter, and we have sadness. And then the energy you're moving into, we have the scorpion and determination. Straight off the bat, like when I was kind of like sitting with these cards, like you're going through a time where you are really being challenged and encouraged to view life in all of its duality and not get bogged down by the fact that like life has its ups and downs. I think sometimes like we get stuck in this mentality of thinking that like if we're not happy all the time, we're not living a good full life. And your spirits are kind of calling out that there is an ebb and flow, and there are cycles to our emotions, to our moods, to our lives. Like everything is a cycle. There are ups and downs, and the ups are really amazing, and they're so fun to be in and so fulfilling. But really where the work comes in and the learning and growth, most of that comes from the times where we think maybe they're down. I feel like let's talk about the energy that you're kind of like in right now and working out of, so I can kind of like illustrate an example for this. So we have the otter, and the otter is the most playful, happy, kind of childlike card in this deck. And then we have that along with sadness. And I feel like you are a very like naturally happy and positive person. But I also feel like you've almost taken on the responsibility to uplift others and spread happiness to others at the expense of really finding your own happiness. And I feel like this has been like a little bit of a coping mechanism that has also kind of prevented you or stopped you from really working through the energies that are creating sadness in your life. Like when I pulled I'm sorry, like we can talk about the duality thing for at first, but I just kind of like heard you apologizing for a lot of things that like maybe aren't your responsibility. And I feel like you have like a very generous nature, and you really want the people around you to be happy, and you want to be happy, and you want to live in harmony, and everybody to live in harmony. And I feel like in this moment, especially with where the world is, I feel like this has put a lot of pressure on you, because things are not like, let's be real, there's a lot of really like there's a lot of ugliness out in the world right now. um And I think your spirits really want you to take your time and energy in that beautiful spirit and focus that time and energy on yourself. Um, the full moon is a card that talks about cycles. Full moon is when the power of the moon is like at its apex, right? Like, and this can amplify really positive things in your life. This can also create kind of chaos and shake things up if there are things that are a little bit more unstable. And so there's that kind of like interplay of being able to maintain balance, like no matter if you're on the top of the wheel or at the bottom. Like I kind of see this like the Wheel of Fortune card. It's kind of a grab bag, and it's really about being able to kind of go with the flow and work in both those energies and really be able to be successful in both those energies. I'm Sorry has a kind of like a similar flavor where there's almost a resistance to digging deeper and kind of like looking at our own behaviors and the way that we contribute to situations. And I think for you, like this is, I think this is like learning to embrace your shadow side, like embrace the things that make you sad, embrace the full aspect of your personality and the full aspect and spectrum of your life. Like I'm also kind of like thinking about Brene Brown and how she talks about happiness and needing to experience the full spectrum of emotions in order to really find true intimacy and true happiness. And I think that's what your spirits are really encouraging you to do, is like you have a full spectrum within yourself. And I think it's a matter of like you taking your time and energy, and rather than focusing on creating happiness from other people, really digging within and figuring out what makes you happy and how you can get there. The Scorpion energy is interesting. Scorpion is, again, talks a little bit about duality, where the Scorpion is very fiery and fun and passionate, but when pushed can kind of sting. And combined with determination, like this, I get like more of a passive feeling from kind of the Otter side. Like you're just kind of like floating on your back and letting the world do what it does. On the Scorpion side, like I feel like this is you transitioning into an attitude where you are taking the reins, like taking control of your life and really making the most of the environment that you're in or the energy that you're in. Like it's chaotic, sure, whatever, like I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna let that like hold me back. Like I'm on top of the world right now, great, like let's ride that. And I think the little Scorpion, like the sting is you really standing in your own power and taking responsibility for your own life and kind of like letting other people take the responsibility of theirs. You're like, this is my lane. I'm gonna rock the shit out of my lane. That's your lane, bro. Like, hey, I've given you advice 3 times on this. You're still complaining to me about it. Like, this isn't my problem. You know, like, if you don't want to change it, that's cool. find a therapist. Like, I really feel like, you're going to develop your edge, and it's not a negative thing. I think this is something that you have been working towards, and your spirits really are excited about. Because when you can really define like your lane and what you want kind of outside of everybody else, like that's when, like, this determination card, like, I don't know if you can really like see it, but there's a pyramid and just a sun rising behind it. Like, I feel like your life's purpose, like the things that you want in this life, are going to become clear to you through this process of really being able to like sit with yourself as kind of a holistic being and focus more on you and doing your shadow work, as opposed to kind of like skimming the surface. This is really cool energy. Okay. This is your reminder. If this does not sound like you, does not sound like something you're working on right now, definitely pick a different pile, because we've got 3 piles and 3 things. And it's interesting, like, you pick the desert rose as well. I don't really, like, sometimes I shuffle the oracles before I pick the crystals. Like, sometimes I just like do it intuitively, whatever. But the desert rose talks about perseverance in the face of obstacles. And I really see that like grit coming out of you, and a lot of determination. Just being like, nope, like, I got my goal. I know what it is now. Like, I know myself enough. I know the full spectrum of me enough to know where I'm going. And you're just shooting out and like running full speed at it. It's really badass. like it is a really badass energy. Okay. Spirit, what advice do you have for pile 1 and how to kind of move these energies, so they can get to this scorpion, perseverant, badass energy? Okay, we have the 5 of Cups. I just heard, don't cry over spilled milk. Okay, that's like a lot. We're gonna take the first card. We have the 6. Oh, we do have the sun there too. But we have the 6 of Swords. Okay, and I guess this card stayed flipped, so it wanted to come. The 5 of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords. Do you have another one? Nope. Okay, well, I see why. Like, I'm gonna take the bottom of the deck energy just from the top row, because the Star. Hell yeah. And we have Kendra. Kendra's like my favorite character in Buffy. You're going to find your North Star. And I think the biggest thing that your spirits are highlighting right now is that you are carrying a lot of burdens. And I really do feel like these are not just your own burdens, but these are the burdens of other people. This Knight of Swords is like very similar energy to the Scorpion. I really just see you being like, your lane, my lane, like, don't get it twisted. I see this heartbreak that, you're coming into this energy with sadness. And I really do feel like you are being weighed down kind of from like multiple avenues. Like part of it is like this feeling where you need to be happy all the time. And I think this denial of your full range of emotions, like I kind of see you in this Five of Chalices is like you're so focused on the 2 cups that you have that you haven't really looked at those 3 cups on the ground. And that's good. Like they're spilled, right? You shouldn't focus on them. But I do think that is tying you back. Like you have the 6 of Swords here. You have the opportunity to move forward. It's interesting in this deck because I think this is Oz, but he's not moving forward like in a traditional Rider-Waite. He's actually looking back. And I feel like you are on the cusp of being able to move forward into calmer waters. But denying your feelings and denying that there is sadness within you and like that is just a natural part of life. And also taking on the burdens of other people is preventing you from moving on because you're not actually able to look at your own sadness and look at your own pain and look at your own shadow self and really be able to work past those energies and have acceptance of your full self. And you are a really beautiful person. Like, I feel like this may be a message just for like a few of you, so if this does not resonate, don't take it. But I feel like there is kind of this feeling for some of you that there's something wrong with you because you're not happy all the time, or because maybe like you're in, I don't know, a space and time right now, like where you just don't feel like yourself. Like, and I think part of the reason why you feel a little bit off kilter and off base is like you've almost been cut off a little bit from your intuition right now, because this is a place and time of growth for you. It's the time where you really do get to go in and look at your shadow self and figure out who you are and figure out what your star is. It's like that determination card. Like, I feel like this is your North Star. And you're really in this space and time, like building up a lot of self-confidence and building up the ability to kind of roll with the punches and choose your battles and stand up for yourself. And I think at the end of this, you're going to have a lot of self-confidence. And it really is going to be pretty black and white. Like, hey, this is something that I want in my life. Hey, this is something that I don't. And I feel like that's going to pick up your energy too. I do feel like you may be in a bit of like just a slowdown. And I do think that's all part of the path, and that's part of this point in your life. Like, even like cards usually are like flying out of the deck and stuff. Like, at least for me, like I grab cards that jump, and these ones didn't really jump. Like, this one just folded back in the deck and kind of like cropped up. I feel like these are energies that in your life that keep on just kind of like rising to the surface slowly. And the more you can just take it as it comes, and when you feel an emotion, sit with it, identify why, work through it, try to let it go, you're going to start seeing a lot of movement and a lot quicker movement. Like, these things are kind of just like bubbling up to the surface. Like, I must see like this Knight of Scythes, like she's holding an orb. I feel like you're going to get these like bubbles And the more you kind of deal with it and the more you work through those little tiny bits of energy, like things are gonna just flow. Now, Spirit, do you have any other messages? Okay, we have the Two of Wands and the Four of Wands. Oh. Ooh, okay, no. That was a butt ton of cards. Okay, that was also a lot of cards, but there's so many. Oh my gosh, but okay, whatever. We're gonna take them all because I want to, but we're just gonna kind of read them separately. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands coming out with the Four of Wands, and I really do feel like you are kind of like on the precipice, and you need to make a decision about like who you are and what direction you want to go. And this working through this energy is going to help you build the confidence to stand in your power and know who you are. And once that process is complete, like your Four of Wands is going to be there, not because like somebody is like magically going to just like pop up into your world, but look, we have like a little orb there. Like it's just going to be a natural part of you getting to know yourself, and your happiness is just going to multiply. Like we have 2 times 2, like it's just a multiplication. We have the Magician and the World reversed. We have the 10 of Cups, and then we have the 7 of Pentacles. And Spirit really wants you to know, like, it takes time to learn to process all these energies, to learn to work with yourself. Like, Willow did not become a witch or a dark witch overnight. I don't know if you're a Buffy stan, but like, this takes practice, it takes time. They're reminding you to be patient, not just with the process, but with yourself as you are working through this. Like this cycle, like you're midway through this cycle. And it's gonna take time. But at the end of it, like you have both the Four of Wands here and the 10 of Cups. You have the Star. Like these are such beautiful, beautiful cards, beautiful energies. Like it's a lot of major arcana. This is going to connect you to yourself and your soul's purpose. And I think like you're going to look back on it and honestly you're going to be like, oh, like it's not a feeling of like, I'm so glad I was patient. It's more like almost like that was easier than I thought. Like it might not feel like that in the moment, but when it's done, something in you is just like going to have completely transformed. And I think being able to kind of balance like all aspects of yourself is really going to put you in an energy where you can just find true bliss and happiness within yourself. Like I'm looking at the Magician and the 10 of Cups and they look very, very similar. Like very similar. Like this is kind of your path to your happiness. Okay. This is super beautiful, honestly. Let's wrap up with a couple pieces of advice. Okay, Spirit. What advice do you have for our Palo ones? Trust. I'm just like not even gonna pull another card for you. I think this is just it. trust the universe has a plan for you. Like, trust that you're on your path, trust that you're doing the damn thing, that you are on your way. You are going to find your happiness, like, no matter how it feels right now, no matter what, like, things ebb and flow in your life. I feel like you're finding your inner peace within yourself. And that is going to sustain you through whatever happens in your life. Because you are literally going to be like, okay, well, no matter what, I got me. And it's interesting because there's phases of the moon on this card, but there's no full moon. Like, the full moon is this butterfly, and you got the full moon card as well at the beginning. Like, you're doing the damn thing, and you got this. So I hope this was helpful. I know you're working through a lot of really heavy energy right now. Like, I'm sending you huge hugs. You got this. And you're going to come out a strong, badass person, truly. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. And again, I hope this was helpful. I'm so grateful to have you here. If it resonated, please like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in another reading soon. Okay, bye. Hi, Pile 2s. If you chose the barite with Saracite and Galena, this is your reading. I seriously love this stone, but wow, what a mouthful. Okay, I have pre-shuffled some oracles for us to look at. We are going to be looking at kind of like the main theme of the energy you're working through in the middle. We'll look at the energy that you are in right now, and then the energy you're moving into as well. So if this resonates, this is your pile. If not, we have 2 other piles as well. So definitely feel free to jump over to those if it doesn't resonate. Yeah, so we have Irosun, so afraid of what the future may be, you didn't act. And then we have Star Family, you're part of a team of souls, call in support. On the left, we have the butterfly in reverse and strength. And then we have the dragonfly and we have passion. So I really feel like you are really struggling right now with trusting in the process and just trusting that the universe like truly has a plan for you. I think you're getting a lot of nudges from the universe kind of pointing you in the right direction. And I kind of sense like some hesitancy and a little bit of like stubbornness to the change. Like the butterfly is all about metamorphosis. And with the butterfly in reverse, I feel like part of you is like not liking what's changing. And I think this discomfort is really coming from the fact that it is different and new. And I feel like I'm hearing like My Own Worst Enemy by Lit. It's gonna age me. It's, oh no, from the early 2000s. Just like, it's no surprise to me I am my own worst enemy. Like I feel like your spirits are sending you opportunities. Opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, opportunities to kind of expand your consciousness. Like the butterfly and the dragonfly are both about expansion and connection to the higher self. And I feel like there's like a bit of like hesitancy and stubbornness to really like jump into that transformative energy and really put trust in the universe and trust and faith in the process, and really just like dive in and dig in deep. I feel like I feel like this might be a little bit connected to pile one. I mean, the last piece of advice in that pile was about trusting in the process and trusting in the universe. And I'm not gonna lie, when I shuffled these out, because I shuffled all the oracles before, I kind of felt like pile 3 was connected to pile 2. So if you felt like you were drawn to multiple piles for this specific reading, they potentially might all be connected. You might resonate with different ones at different times. But part of me like feels like you have had to be very strong through some very like tough times. And I'm almost hearing like skeletons in the closet. Like there's a lot of shit that you've been through like recently and maybe in the past. And I feel like you are in this kind of like self-protective energy right now. Your spirits want you to know that like this self-protective energy worked for you and was suited for a specific period of time in your life. And now you're moving into an energy of expansion. And what's happening right now is like you're struggling. It's almost like this butterfly is like in a cage, but the cage like shouldn't be there. I think the cage is a little bit self-imposed by you right now. And there is kind of like a feeling like, I almost feel like you've been protecting yourself on your own for so long. Even if you have a lot of people in your life, I feel like the responsibility of keeping yourself safe, like you've been taught, that is up to you. It's almost like an energy of a little bit of like hyper independence. But really like what's limiting you right now is yourself. It's your own fear of the unknown right now, and the hesitancy to kind of like step out and let yourself grow and let yourself transform. And really have faith in the process and faith in the universe, faith that when you take a leap, you have a team of spirits that will catch you. And that's really what they want to emphasize right now is like, you are not alone. You are absolutely not alone. And right now, like you're protecting yourself not only from things that are negative, but also things that are positive. And your spirits really want to bring in fresh energy to your life and bring in this expansion and help kind of shift your awareness. Like you should be free skimming the water, not kind of like trapped in a cage. And it's like, it's interesting that both the strength and passion cards, like they're both very red cards. It's like slightly different tones, and I don't know if it like picks up on camera that well, but there is kind of like an emphasis on freedom here, and it's freedom within. Like both of these cards are in reverse, and sometimes I take that as like negative aspects of cards, but for here it feels like there's like this internal and external divide. And we also have this like passion kind of like mirrored above and below, like there's symmetry and strength as well. I feel like when you let these walls down and like let this cage go and kind of put your faith in the universe and in yourself, like this isn't just about it's not just about you having faith in the universe and saying like, oh, you're going to take care of me. It's also like knowing that you're a beautiful, amazing person and you fucking got this. Like, whatever happens, I just heard like, whatever happens, we are deathless. Like, and then we have this like death man. It's a song from the Bay. Like, you are an infinite being having a human experience. And I think you know that. But at the same time, I think like the 3D kind of like limits you. But the beautiful thing is like once you really free yourself, like I literally see like a dragonfly like skimming the water with just so much joy. And it's a little bit different. Like a butterfly kind of like flits around, but a dragonfly is like fast. Like they're fucking speedy. And this passion energy, like I feel like once you bust out of that cage, you are going to find so much joy, so much passion, so much drive. And it's really about like stepping into the unknown and kind of like cultivating that zest for life. Because it feels like almost like you have so many restrictions that are self-imposed around yourself, like that a lot of them are fear-based, that they like really cut you off from zest for life. Like that just keeps on kind of like repeating itself. Like, yeah, so let's move on to tarot. If this resonated, stick around. If it did not, pop on over to pile 1 or 3. One of your spirits is funny. It's just like, they're like talking, they're like, I want to see you with like a shit-eating grin. Like, it's just like so fucking happy. Like, the kind of happiness where you're like a little kid, like licking an ice cream cone, like as it's melting in your hand, or like with a popsicle, like all over your face. There's like some sort of like childlike wonder that they really want you to recapture. And that's going to be like part of like rediscovering your passion for life. Like as a kid, we don't have the experience to know that like life isn't always fun, you know, mostly, right? Like kids are fearless in a lot of ways that like is kind of like trained out of us over time as we become adults. And I feel like part of this is like recapturing that kind of like childish and childlike passion for life. Okay, Spirit, what advice do you have for our pile 2s? Okay, I got the 6 of Cups reverse and the 3 of Cups in reverse. Again, we have like the 6 of Cups is a card of innocence, of childhood. We have the Hierophant, the 7 of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, let's start from here, and then maybe I'll pull a few more cards. Okay, so I think like the Hierophant is at the center of the spread here, and I think this is kind of like key to like moving out of these kind of like restrictive energies. Like the Hierophant talks about rules, customs, religious traditions, kind of the structure of society that keeps us together and like keeps us in the norm. On the left, we have the Six of Cups and we have the Three of Cups. And then and these are like very like celebratory, beautiful energies. You know, Six of Cups can be about gift giving, it can be about childhood memories of innocence, being in kind of like this like really beautiful giving state of mind. Sixes are about balance. The Three of Cups is about friendship, celebration. It can be about like return and renewal. And then on the other side of the Hierophant, we have the Seven of Swords, and swords, right? No, stakes, wands. This is Seven of Wands? Seven of Wands. Okay. Well, I got some Seven of Swords and Queen of Swords from it too. So I'm gonna kind of go how like I intuitively read it when they came out. But I think there's like a double meaning in here too. The Seven of Swords can be about like sneaky kind of self-betrayal. And Seven of Wands also is about like kind of like being on the defensive. And I feel like your self-protection, like I see kind of like a self-protective energy from this side of the spread. I feel like you're hiding in kind of these societal limitations. And you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and your spirits want you to know like not all of these rules are meant for you. These rules are actually set in this world to limit us, to cut us off from our spirituality. They're not there. Some of them are there for our benefit, right? Like I'm not saying like we should just go ruleless, like, but a lot of them, like a lot of the structure of our society has been set up to our detriment, to actually hold us back, to stop us from growing as people, to stop us from being happy. Like if we're just in that rat race and we are competing and we are trying to attain whatever society tells us we're trying to attain, like we're never actually going to get true happiness. And I think these are part of the limitations where your spirits really want you to bust out of that mold, bust out of that cage, and start living life on your terms, the way you want to live life. Like you've got a lot of fire in this like Queen of Wands here, but it's not able to be expressed properly because of the restrictions of this like Hierophant energy in your life. So this could be a few different things. Like this could be like trying to like ruthlessly climb the corporate ladder. It could be a religion structure that maybe is not making you happy. Or feeling like you have to fit some certain molds, you know, especially, I don't know, like if you're in a corporate job and you want to be an artist, like, and you feel like this is like a higher calling, you know, like maybe like removing that restriction and allowing yourself to do something on the side and maybe like transition to a different career. Even if, yeah, like maybe it's not going to be as lucrative as, you know, going and getting an MBA, and being a director of sales somewhere, I don't know. Like, but is that actually going to make you happy, or is that going to make you feel restricted? Like you may have more money, but at some point money doesn't buy happiness. Like once you get your base needs covered, like it does not make you happier. And I think that's something that like we don't talk about enough. And honestly, when you start creating wealth for yourself and generating money, like it also becomes a shackle in a certain way too. I don't want to like demonize money, right? Like money's fun, but it gets you from A to B. It's not an end all be all. And your spirits just want you to figure out like the balance in this. Like what makes you happy? And what's restricting you? And how can you start removing some of those restrictions so you can get back to your joyous self without feeling like you were just like bogged down in a bunch of bullshit? Okay, Spirit, do you have any other messages? Yes, ma'am. Okay. What is this? The 9 of Wands. Yeah, I mean, that's all about like getting out of this kind of like restricted, painful time. Like, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands down here. We have Temperance, the 3 of Swords, the 9 of Pence, and the King of Wands. So I feel like there's like a duality within you as well. Like maybe for some of you, like you've been playing more of the role of either the like feminine or masculine, and maybe like that personality or that image is actually a restriction for you. So that could be like one thing that's kind of coming up, like you want to break out of this mold. You don't like the restrictions of society. You don't like being told, hey, like you can't do this because you're a man. You can't do this because you're a woman. For some of you, like that might be a restriction there. This is just like a further emphasis from Spirit saying, like, you're going to be successful. And the way that you're going to do that is balancing kind of like your head and your heart almost. Like figuring out what are your must-haves. Like you're going to have to play in society to a certain extent to get shit done, right? Like you can't just decide like, fuck it, I don't like any of these rules, I'm not going to play by them. But you have to figure out like what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not. Like none of us can have everything. But you have restrictions in your life that are kind of like self-imposed that if you removed them, would help you define your own path to success and your own vision of what success looks like. And this path is like not for like, it's for the brave of heart. I really kind of like see that in this card. But you're strong as hell. And like the end of you feeling like you have more agency in your life, you have more control over it, you have balance, like you have prosperity, and you're the damn king and queen, like that is going to be worth the struggle. Because right now I feel like you're kind of weighed down and unable to move forward. And that is like almost like its own like little personal hell. And your spirits really, they want to see you remove that restriction and find more joy and find more happiness in your life again. Okay. And is this Anya? I feel like that is Anya. I mean, we have like counterparts, like King of Wands and Queen of Wands, and then we also have Xander and Anya, who are married. So I feel like you may also find your partner in kind of like in releasing this and kind of switching it up and like part of this is going to be like navigating like what you can sacrifice and what you can't when it comes to a partnership as well. Like if you don't want to be in a traditional like traditional kind of like gender stereotype relationship, then don't. Like, if you're a gal and you want to date a gal, date a gal, you know, like, I feel like the kind of bucking of these like these norms is going to connect you with partners that are like much more suitable for you in your definition, not in somebody else's definition. Okay, so what advice do you have for a beautiful Palo? Celine, bring light into somebody's dark sky. She's one of the moon goddesses. Whoop. And then we have cast a circle. Healthy boundaries are crucial for growth. I see this as like not you casting a light into somebody else's sky. I feel like this is like a reminder for you to cast light in your own damn sky. Like, I just heard fuck everybody else. Like, not really, but kind of like. And the boundaries again are just like emphasizing like this is a restriction, and boundaries can be good restrictions. They can be, hey, you know, like, this is how I feel safe and healthy, and, you know, like, please respect this. Or it can be so many boundaries and walls up that it actually creates restrictions in your own life. So I think the healthy boundaries for you is like, yes, maintain the ones that like actually contribute to your safety, but it's time to let go of some of the ones that actually cause restrictions in your life. And then we have a mirror, mirror. The beauty you see in me is a reflection of you. Once you become more aligned, like, again, I feel like you're going to attract things that are just more aligned with you as an internal being. And when you have those types of relationships and those types of people around you, life is just going to feel lighter because you're on the same frequency, you're vibing. Like, there isn't this kind of like push and pull. Like, you may also find that naturally as you attract things that are more like suited for your energy and where you're at and who you are, you will need to enforce your boundaries a lot less. So that will also just like create a path of less restriction in your life. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Like, this is really amazing energy. I feel like as you shed, things are just going to start flowing in your life, and it's going to feel a lot better too. Like, you're going to know that you're making the right choices because it may come with a little bit of heartbreak, but it's going to come with a whole lot of inner peace. Like, you're just going to know that these are right for you. So thank you so much, Pal Twos, for coming and hanging out with me. This was really fun. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I hope you will come back soon. Until then, I hope you protect your little heart, and I will see you in another reading. Okay, bye. Hi, Pile Threes. If you chose this black tourmaline with quartz, this little guy, yay. This is your reading. Ooh, oh my gosh, I almost just burned myself. Okay, we're starting this reading with a bang. I have pre-shuffled oracles for you, so we're going to start with kind of central energies that you are working through right now, like the main piece of advice. On the left, we'll talk about the energy that you're in right now, and the right, the energy that you're kind of moving into. And then we'll wrap up with tarot and advice. And we're just going to be asking Spirit for clarification, what advice they have for you, how to kind of move these energies in your life. If this isn't sounding like you, like during this kind of first portion, then definitely click to either pile 1 or 2. Yeah, let's dig into your reading. Okay, so first we have Okaran. Those who have the Risha's blessing are destined to enjoy happiness. And then we have Child of the Cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you, and cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. For the energy that you are currently in, we have the mouse and the wolf, and we have love. And then we have the eagle, and we have disruption. So first off, this central energy is like the most beautiful card in this deck, in my personal opinion. I think this deck starts at 1. I'm actually not 100% sure on that. But really, like, this card for me means like you are in the right place at the right time. As long as you are staying true to yourself, you are living in a loving attitude towards self and others. Like, remember, that doesn't mean no boundaries. That doesn't mean like, you just let people like run roughshod over you. Like, no. But living in a loving energy with yourself where you are truly at peace, where you are creating peace in your own life, creating happiness, and to the extent you can possibly control this, like not creating harm for others, like you will be blessed by the universe. I think the challenge for you right now, and something that you're really working on, is really cultivating this love and this peace within yourself. Our self-love journeys are very long. And I feel like you have worked through many different layers. Like, this seems like you are becoming more at peace with yourself and learning to love yourself a bit more. I think something that you're struggling with right now, like, is almost like being able to kind of roll with the punches and love yourself through your imperfection as well. Like, the mouse energy can be very critical and maybe a little bit anxious as well. And the wolf energy as well is kind of like almost a pack mentality, like everyone has to do this too. Like, I kind of like feel this like you've almost like given yourself an image of what a fully developed, and I'm gonna say like fully developed because we're not ever like fixed or fully developed, like we're always working, right? Like, I feel like you have this image in your mind of like what piety looks like, or like what spiritual development should look like. And it almost feels like you kind of get down on yourself sometimes if you don't 100% like match up with that vision that you've set for yourself. And I feel like you have really cultivated this amazing ability to kind of like spread your light and spread your love out to others. And you're starting to kind of like have this true peace and interplay with the universe. But there's still this like this part of you that I think almost like cuts yourself off from your own blessings in some way, because you're not meeting this perfect vision. Like, if I was healed, then I would behave this way all the time. Or, like, I don't get to be mad because mad is like a negative energy. And, like, when we become spiritual people, we release our anger. Like, yes, we learn more healthy coping mechanisms for our anger, but like, anger is a human emotion. And it's important to feel our emotions. It's actually what we do with them that's more important. It's not the fact that like we had a reaction. It's like, okay, well, I'm angry about this. Like, do I take it out on somebody else, or do I sit with myself and figure out what that core emotion is and then go handle it rationally? And I feel like yeah, I feel like sometimes like it's hard for you to do that and really like sit in that and almost like remember that you're human. And being able to like give yourself that kind of grace and that self-love and say like, yeah, I'm not perfect because I'm human. Like this is part of the experience. Um, your spirit's really like they're sending you so much love right now. Like this card is truly a blessing. And and I kind of relate a lot with this energy. Like this card pops out for me a lot when I'm working with this deck and I'm feeling like, oh, I made a mistake, like I did something wrong, or like I stood up for myself and maybe that was wrong. And this card will pop out and it's always a reminder to me that like self-care is important. If I'm upset about the way that somebody treated me, it's not a reflection of me as a person for having an upset reaction. And if I decide rationally that this person should no longer be in my life or there should be a consequence for someone's actions, that is okay, because that's really like setting you up to live a more peaceful life. And I feel some like pain and like I want to give you a hug right now because I do feel like some pain and frustration, and I feel like when this hits, like it might not be very often, but it is kind of like questioning like, am I a good person, or have I disappointed the people around me? Like I'm disappointed in myself. And your spirit's really like, they want you to embrace like the fact that yes, you're a child of the cosmos. Like, yes, the universe exists within you. And yes, like you are a human being and you're gonna have human being reactions, and it's okay not to be perfect. And this energy of disruption that you're going to move into, like they really don't want you to fear these moments of doubt, these moments where I feel like you're almost like afraid when you make a mistake that you're gonna lose something, or that you're gonna be cut off, or that all like the hard work that you've put in was really for nothing. You're like, wow, well, this just happened, and like it's almost like a sense of like I'm going to lose my blessings. And your spirits want you to know, like when you run into a situation where you weren't perfect, like that is time to take that spirituality and that fire and figure out like, is there something that needs to change in my life? Like the eagle is about spiritual transformation, and it's a very like powerful card. It's kind of like going through karmic fire and like coming out successful. Like you don't have to be afraid of these moments. Some of these moments are designed to crack you open. We learn the most through our own mistakes. And this disruption is actually like, it's not going to cut you off from love. It's not going to cut you off from the love of the universe, from the love of God, or whoever you believe in, work with. it actually is going to intensify that connection. Like if you look like yes, this is like a nice, cute little pink color, but this is like a pink color. You know, it's vibrant. And yeah, I think like the biggest message I'm hearing is like, you are loved and you are perfectly imperfect. Like, that's the way that we're designed. We're here to learn. And the only way to learn things is through making mistakes. Like, you don't have to be afraid of mistakes. If you come in with an open heart, which I feel like you do, you're going to be fine. I feel like the biggest thing like holding you back from being able to really like feel the blessings of the universe and allow that energy to flow in is your fear of making mistakes. I just heard you're doing fine, sweetie. You really are. You're not even just doing fine. Like you're a freaking baller, okay? This card does not come out for much. Okay. Let's dig into what Spirit has to say. Oh, and we have the Empress here. Hell yeah. This is a sick card. Like, you are the Empress. Spirit above all wants you to remember that. Like, remember who you are. You are the Empress energy. Like, you're the Alpha, the Omega. You are the universe within you. And you're also in a human body. And like, the bounty of the universe is truly like there at your fingertips. It's really just a matter of believing it for yourself and accepting it. Okay, Spirit, what advice do you have for our beautiful pile threes? Oh, those ones just hopped out. Okay, we have Strength in reverse, and we have the, oh my God, Roman numerals, the Four of Wands in reverse. Upside down four, or upside down Roman numerals is just like too much for me. We have the Seven of Swords. We have Death in reverse. And then we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Let's see what the back of the deck energy is. We have the King of Wands. Yeah, I'm kind of getting like the same vibe. Like, there's almost like a fear that you're working through right now. And the mouse energy was like coming through that as well. Like, a fear that you're not going to find your happy ending. And that if you're not perfect, like, it's not going to be enough. Like, you're not going to be enough. And I think it's kind of like bringing in some blockages for you to actually be able to create the change in your life that you truly want, but it does feel like you're kind of telling yourself that you don't. And it's not like an active thing. But there is just this like energy of like almost a little bit of like self-betrayal, because you're kind of like scared to look at mistakes. It's like a little bit of a, I think it's just like it's a tiny perspective shift. Like you're already in the energy that you need to be in. Like I feel like your spirits are so happy with you. Like you truly have the blessings of the universe. Like you're doing the damn thing. Like you're at peace with yourself. You are living life in a way that is in alignment with you. Like I feel like you live your life in a way that's do no harm, and you try to bring support and happiness to the people around you. I feel like the part that's really been a struggle is like giving that same type of support and leniency to yourself. Like if you step a toe out of line at this point, it's either backsliding or it's going to prevent you from breathing in the happy ending that you want. And not even happy ending, like happy life. I feel like it's just like waiting for you. Like the Queen of and King of Wands came out in pile 2 as well. And honestly, when I shuffled, I felt like all these piles were linked. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I've just taken a journey. So if you resonated with other piles, you might have a message in there. Although I do feel like pile 1 and 2 is like 1 was the beginning, 2 was the middle, 3 is kind of like the ending energy of this journey. It's just kind of funny, like the pile or the readings that I've done like this have kind of had that similar flow through them. Like your counterpart is just like that energy is right there. And I don't like the last pile too, like I don't think it's just necessarily like romantic counterparts. I think it is like people who really align with the energy that you're in. And I think that like self-acceptance and leniency and self-love, like that last little extra little spice on it, is going to open up a lot of doors for you. Okay, we have Temperance in reverse. Okay, I'm going to take that one. We have, oh, the 10 of Pence. Yeah. I'll take another card on the bottom too. Is that the 8 of Pentacles? Yeah. Like you've done the work. You have absolutely done the work. And that work is not going to be erased, like, because you make one mistake or, you know, you like get angry once or you piss somebody off, you know, like you carry that with you. And no one can take that away from you. I feel like there is like a disconnection though that's kind of caused like from within you, where you're fighting against yourself a little bit because of like unprocessed feelings of, I think honestly like shame. Like I'm getting like, you know, I was getting kind of like perfectionist vibes as well earlier in the reading. And I think these are really like hard energies to work through, you know, like giving yourself that grace. And like Temperance, I feel like that this is like also being able to like fill your own cup. It's passing that energy back and forth, and again like giving yourself more grace. Like your spirits are proud as fuck of you, like so damn proud, and they have a lot of grace for you. They have a lot of love for you. And they really want you to be able to give that love to yourself. Because if you're really able to kind of like look at your mistakes dead on, like you can take that fire of them and transform, and it is just going to propel you further and further. Yeah, let's grab some pieces of advice for you. Okay, Spirit, what advice do you have for our amazing badass pal threes? You got familiar, listen and learn. And mirror, mirror, the beauty you see in me is a reflection of you. This also came out in a previous file. I think that was file 2. Your light and shadow sides are both part of you. And they're there for a reason. Like, they're part of the design. What is that? It's not a bug, it's a feature. Like, they're there. And the more you can learn to kind of step into those energies and accept your mistakes and accept like your quote unquote failures, like, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And the more you can embody that and accept it and accept that no matter what, you are loved. It doesn't matter what you do, truly. I mean, like, let's not get into like heinous acts territory. Like, there is karma and, you know, bad things will happen if you do bad things, but that's not the camp that you're in, right? You're in the camp of I'm human and I make mistakes and I've worked my ass off to get to where I am right now. And like, nobody can take that away from you. And one mistake isn't going to lose you that either. Those are still opportunities for us to kind of like peel back layers and learn and grow. And again, like, you're doing amazing. Yeah, I just pulled another card. Things come and go, surrender to the universe. Like, let those energies transform you, move through you, and like, watch your life open up. And you've seen that many times before because you are not at the beginning of your journey. You're just entering deeper stages of it. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is really beautiful energy. Like, you truly have worked so freaking hard. And I'm really excited for you to kind of go through this next stage. So if this resonated, please like, comment, subscribe, and protect your little heart. I will see you in another reading. Okay?